The Hideout. The hideout was a tree house, and Ghost only had one usable arm. Leaning forward, he hooked his right arm into the mess of crabapple tree branches. This place had a lot of food, undesirable but wild. Even the weeds. Ghost knew because he'd tried some. More things were edible than people seemed to think. He hooked his legs, unhooked his arm, and climbed up like that. The rotting walls were still strong enough for his hands. His foot slipped and his legs shot out. He gasped. His hand slapped down on the scrapboard stuff, fingers lodged in a crevice between them. Scared, he looked down where he almost fell. A wilderness of tall weeds and flower and death, with those creepy bits of kids' toys peeking out between them like a trap. It was very dark now. In passing a bombed farmer's market, he'd kicked a bone finger by accident, a rather tiny one. A young girl had rotted and dried on the pavement. Just a pile of clothes, dry fallen skin on the skeleton, which had been blasted in pieces. Nearby, he'd found what he was looking for, a cracked mirror, along with a few other blasted bits of gluey makeup containers. The crescent moon had come out from the clouds now, and it shone through the 2-foot square window in the treehouse. He knelt on the knotted cotton rug, unusually intact despite some bugs, and allowed the moon to shine onto his face. It was bluish, and his frown overshadowed his eyes. He lifted his chin and raised his eyebrows to see. The pink skin around his eyes was more grayish in the moonlight. As always, the first thing that he noticed on his skin was the long scar down his chin and neck. His dad gave him that, with his first pocket knife. He said he was teaching Chase how to use it. He still wondered if that was really the only reason. His black pupils stared back at him. He looked more innocent than he felt, but the eyes were the eyes of a shade. On a closer look, he could see the vague outline of his iris, pale blue-gray. They were almost white. He folded close the cracked hand mirror, sitting back on the rug. Eyes of a shade. Well, he'd wanted to disappear. Maybe it was a good thing. His fractured forearm ached at him. The pain was exhausting. He had to keep stooping over it, groaning when the pain got too much. That had made him tired, too. Instincts told him to do something scary. He slipped his arm back into the loose sling he'd been hiding under his black coat. He took the coat off and left it on the rug. He stepped out of the black boots he'd been given, and, clinging by the door frame to the treehouse, he stepped out onto the corner of the frame the treehouse was built on. With a little heart skip, he let go the door frame, and then before he could fall, he slipped his hand around the tree and hugged himself against it. He impacted gently, chest first. That was enough right now. His toes curled over the edge of the treated boards. Whoever made the moon had to be a nice god. Maybe he could find food in the gardens out here next morning.